Well, this is still Prime Morning, and it's time for the big interview. KMJ.
Yes. And we're still taking your views on inauguration yesterday.
Yeah.
So many other things coming through and all that, and we're hoping that we'll be able to hear from you as well, all right? So do well and send your messages to us. Let's hear from you. I know you've got a lot of things to talk about in terms of what the next 120 days is going to be and all of that. But of course, we are going to be Ghanaians as we've been expected to be, moving forward. And so, yeah, that's what it is. But it's time for us to get into our big interview this morning. And we're looking at the Ekumfi Constituency.
Yes, we are. It's one constituency that I know that a lot of people have been, there's this attention surrounding Ekumfi. And number one is because it's the hometown of former president, ex-president, Fifi Atta-Mills, Professor Fifi Atta-Mills, may he so rest in perfect peace. And then also for the fact that Ekumfi juice. So, Ekumfi juice, exactly. So we have seated with us this morning the MP for Ekumfi Constituency. We have to get to know him. We have to get to know exactly what he has for his constituents. We have to get to understand and know the journey that he was on pertaining to how everything has gone on politically and how he's gotten here as well. And so, ladies and gentlemen, seated with us this morning is Dr. Othniel Ekow Kwainoe. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, and you?
Good to have you here.
Great.
We are happy. We are happy, that you've joined us this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm also excited to be here.
Yeah.
And I like the first name.
Othniel, yes.
It's quite an interesting name because it's actually biblical. If you
Okay.
In the book of Judges, you find it as one of the first judges of Israel.
I see.
So, unfortunately, whenever I mention my name, people ask me, "Are you a Fanti?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh, it's true.
I mean, if you mention that alone, I would not really link it to Fanti.
Well,
Really?
Othniel, no.
quite a number.
It's
of
like some
people.
British.
Well, I mean, maybe your background kind of gives you that impression, but
Yeah.
for us down here, usually the Fantis are associated with kind of interesting
Those names,
Those
yeah.
interesting
because of
names.
our history and how we kind of interface with the foreign people when
That's
they're
true.
here. So
That's
we
true.
have quite a few interesting names, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So before we get talking with Doc over here, who is the MP for Ekumfi Constituency, please start getting interactive with us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, it is Joy Prime TV. Our WhatsApp number is 055-157-5757. What are some of the questions that you have for Dr. Othniel Ekow Kwainoe? Are you a constituent? Do you live in Ekumfi? Do you come from Ekumfi? Has there been anything at all that has been bothering you for a while now that you're hoping that he will correct now that he is MP of your constituency? Share that with us on all our social media platforms. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I mean, you've had a very interesting journey. A lot of people would have believed that you would have survived here in Accra because but I mean, like they always say, home sweet home. You have to. I am interested in making that decision that I am not going to be doing this here in Accra, but I need to go back home. And, maybe that is where I'll be much, appreciated and accepted. What went into that decision?
Thank you very much. Before I start, maybe let me go through my normal wish the President of the Republic of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama, a very good day, a very good start. I wish him. So do I wish Professor J. Nana Bukajiman the same, and also to all your cherished viewers as well. Well, back to your question. It's been an interesting journey. I have lived literally some number of years in Accra. Schooled here, went to Cape Coast for St. Augustine's and back to Accra. So it's been an on and off situation. Largely after school, went into banking, did banking for quite a number of years. Within that time of my life, I was playing politics, but usually you don't make it too loud. Yeah, so I was within the space doing a few things. To be honest, initially, I attempted to do something in Accra. But, well, as God will have it, probably this wasn't my place. So I went ahead, tried to be a constituency chairman, which I was successful. That was 2010, 2014 in Ablikma West. I was nobody actually in a party. I was just playing my roles, doing whatever I have to do. But so by the time I was ready to contest, I think I had a kind of smooth ride, if I should say so. I won by a landslide because of the hard work I had put in the party. So people had very good expectations of me, and I had lived well with the people. So if I recall, I think I probably did over 300, and my opponent did less than 100.
That's really
which was for me quite an endorsement.
Yeah.
If I should look at it that way. At the end of my term, I told my people that, look, at some point, I'm going to work so hard that if I want to leave, you probably ask me not to go. And that's me. And I think by the time I was ready to leave, it was a tussle between myself and my constituents, because most of them had touted me to be the next big candidate, the next big thing. But then in my head, I knew that my people back in Ekumfi also needed me.
Yeah.
So I took this as a learning curve for me. I had to learn quite a few things. I mean, politics as its where has Accra as its base, where Parliament is. All the parliamentarians, the ministers, everybody's here. So, and networking remains a critical issue for anybody who wants to survive in the political space. So I had to make sure I make quite good friends, relationships that can spur me on, assuming I get the opportunity. I think that at the end of 2014, I was kind of ready to go back home to show myself. So 2016, I entered Ekumfi politics. I fought quite hard.
Yeah.
2019, I tried my luck.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. Yeah.
It was quite a contest. I mean, like, we had about 5 contestants, 2 MPs, 1 ex, and a sitting one. I came second, which for me was a good start.
Yeah.
Was a good start.
I mean, you haven't left in Accra, done everything, and going back and coming second.
So coming second for me was, hey, guy, please, keep on.
Yeah.
So I kept on. I worked hard, kept close contact with my people, had my programs, did quite a few things. I went to agriculture. I became the 2021 District Best Farmer. And I 2022 Central Regional Pineapple Best Farmer. Actually, in line with the Ekumfi juice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my farm is just about, let's say, 400 to 500 meters away from Ekumfi juice. So I try to supply them a bit, and also I employed quite a few people to also work for me. So the people of Nanabin, they graced me with the land. I think the chiefs there are quite good. And that is also one of the spiritual homes, or homes of President Atta Mills, if you ask me. So Ekumfi has been quite a journey. It's only 2024 that my people realized that they need to give me an opportunity. So we went to the contest. It wasn't an easy contest, if you ask me. I mean, everybody came guns blazing. But I think...
Doug, before we delve into, 2024, between the period of 2019 and 2024, would you say that every single thing that you did for your constituents, I mean, your people, your family, if I should put it that way, in Ekumfi, would you say it was highly intentional and calculated and strategic?
Well, I think nothing happens by chance in politics. You need to be strategic. You need to be focused on whatever you're doing. And for me, everything that I did, I knew people were watching.
Okay.
Right.
And clearly, whilst they're watching you, you need to let them know that you are deliberate about it. I had to do stuff that really I love doing. However, it had implications on my career as well. So going into farming, because predominantly our people are farmers and fishermen. So I had to choose one, because I don't live by the coast. I come from a Sacher, which is like on the farm side of things. So I had to make sure I do something. That's why I went into farming, and fortunately I survived it, if you ask me. The coastal belt, which is the strongest hold of the NDC.
Okay.
And there's quite a lot of work that has to go there as well. If you look at their landing beaches, the sea defense, sanitation issues, there are quite a lot. So the work is quite big, if you ask me, for us to be able to do. But I think that I had to even set up a football team, Ekumfi Royals.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Which is a second division team, which is playing now. They are doing quite well. Basically, the intention is to create opportunity for my people.
Yeah.
I mean, if one person survives this football, it could transform the whole place. And therefore, I think that going into it afforded the opportunity for the youth who are literally always playing football. I mean, going into the campaign, right? It got to a point where the youth were so much asking of jerseys, football, mowers.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that should tell you how much love they have for football.
Football, yeah.
So I realized that no, let me create a platform where they can showcase themselves. Okay. That's why I went into football. So I went to it.
Did you have a background in that stuff?
Honestly, I did play some football. Okay. Mike Lesian was my classmate in St. Augustine's. And
Nice.
I did play a few times.
Okay.
So I love football.
Going there was more or less like flowing something you have done in the past.
Exactly. So I had that passion, but of course, in those days, football, our parents were not too.
Nah.
In our house, we learn, we'll go and learn. You know, that kind of stuff. But, I mean, look, today my son, who is my son wants to play football, and I have no disagreements with him, if that's what he wants to do. And believe you me, talent pays more than anything.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Except that maybe the time frame for your talent is a bit short. But if you get it right, talent can take you places. That's why I really focused on making sure this football team comes on board and helps to give the opportunity to our people. And to be honest, in recent times, I got a few people from Denmark who came to Ghana with the intention of trying to form some sort of alliance with the team, as it were. And I think that from this year, they're likely to be here, I think, in February, basically to see how we can partner and give opportunities to our people. Well, if some of them get to travel, fantastic for us.
Ooh,
and I think that is really going to work for us. And interestingly, women's football is taking a keen shape, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the discussions we've had so far, most of the people are actually looking at situations where they can get girls from Ghana to go out there to play football. And that's really kind of where the interest has gone.
Okay.
The good thing about it is that they put you into school, you work for 2 years. So beyond the 2 years, assuming you don't even make it in the football, you have an opportunity to stay a bit longer and also get yourself fixed. So I think it's a very good opportunity that I think is coming our way. And, well, it's going to be a bit capital intensive, but I think that it's a worthy cause, and I'm willing and ready to do my best to make sure my people get the opportunity in terms of footballing. Again, I mean, coming back to Ekumfi, there are a lot of things that needs to be done.
Okay.
You might ask that the former president was from there, but you know, naturally, Fantis are kind of laid-back people. Yeah. We always want to be in your small corner, you know, do your thing. That's how we are naturally. So you find people who have made it who are Fantis are naturally, I don't want to say naturally, but they get to be humble.
Okay.
And I seem to have that as well. I don't know if probably you may not be in a position to speak about it now. Yeah. But at least I think humility plays a key role in terms of how people perceive you as a person. And I think that naturally I have that, and it's worked for me also. So everywhere I go, I try to treat people with respect. It doesn't matter where you stand. So long as you're a human being, I believe that you deserve that respect. And also, I believe that in doing that, I expect it to be reciprocal.
Right.
So that is how I've lived all my life, and I think that I'm not going to change. The last time I had an interview, I was asked a question that, we hear when you win power, you go to parliament, you change it. And I told her, look, I'm original. I'm not going to change because of position or where I find myself. That is how I am. And I believe that it's probably going to stay that way until maybe God knows how long.
You might never know. You wouldn't really know what lies ahead of you. So, you know, there's a high possibility.
The good thing is, you know, exposure also plays a key role.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you've been somewhere before, you've seen a few things in your life, it just takes maybe extraordinary things to get you to change.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that God has been good in my life journey. I've seen a few. I've worked quite hard. And I think that if I'm like this by this time, maybe, I don't know, but I really have my doubts. I'm really going to change exponentially. Yeah, so.
But you doubt there's going to be like a significant change?
I really doubt. I hope I don't change.
Right.
I don't think
we pray you don't change. Fingers crossed on that. But okay. So you want?
No. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So before you decided to contest in the Ekumfi constituency, what would you say were some of the outstanding things that you looked at and you really had it at heart that you would want to be there and change that?
Ekumfi is a very dynamic constituency. Like I said, we have the coastal belt and we have the farming community. Yeah. And one thing that struck me quite strongly was because there are no jobs, largely a huge chunk of the youth, probably 50% if you ask me, have left Ekumfi.
Oh.
Yeah, so they are usually travelers in search of work. So if you come to Accra, you go to Hafasne, you go to the mining communities,
you find them scattered
all over the place because there are no jobs. And that is one thing that I think that we need to actually work on.
Okay.
I mean, farming, if you listen to President Mahama, he talks about farming and how farming can transform this economy.
Yeah.
And I think that Ekumfi, in terms of arable land, we are like number 3 in the whole of Central Region. We have so much land, but it's so unutilized. Meanwhile, our youth are out there looking for jobs. If you create a platform for them to be able to go into agribusiness, I think that it will give them the opportunity to make money for themselves whilst also improving the local economy. I went into farming. Yes, it's tough. Farming is tough. But we are lucky. We have a river which literally runs through every part of the constituency. So irrigation, if there's a bit of money, it's going to help people to really do well in farming. So it's one thing that I really want to look at, getting jobs into the system.
Okay.
And we are in the coastal belt. Salt for that matter. Another big area that we can really look at and make sure that if we set up a small refinery, it doesn't have to be big, but we start from somewhere where we create jobs. The area called Sarafa, in the past, history tells us that it was one of the richest communities in Ghana, actually, because they were doing salt, and salt was a big thing. Today, it's still big. Petrochemical industry, pharmaceutical industry, all these places require salt for serious business. So I think that if we get investment into such areas, it's really going to help create jobs for our people to come back home. I mean, if you go engage in Galamsey, it's a tough area. Already, look at all the issues around Galamsey today. But because they really don't have options,
they get quick and easy money as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that the job thing is one thing that we really need to work on, that if we do, it's really going to help our people. For me, farming is big for me. I mean, if you look at even inflation, I mean, look, food plays a very key role in that. We can also export, exchange rate issues. So farming is big for me, that if President Mahama's discussion on creating farm banks and also putting out farming centers, if it happens, with the land that we have and the kind of youth that we have, honestly, if we put some attention on them, I think we are going to transform the place. The coastal belt, yes, they have issues as well. Again, we have quite a number of the youth on the coastal belt going into fishing. And beyond that, there are issues. I mean, the whole industry on fishing is literally non-existent now. Because what they are doing now is so low in terms of the gravity with which they could have done better.
Okay.
Today, premix is a big challenge. It's one of the biggest challenges. Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, how come we have so much fuel for our cars? How many people go fishing to the extent that we have so much issues on premix? But for some reason, that particular thing has been so politicized. I ask myself, so if a fisherman goes to bring fish, is it classified as this party A or party B? This is protein for us.
Wow.
But it's so hard to come by that fishing has really gone really low. I mean, beyond that, look at issues of outboard motors, their boats, their canoes. The cost is ridiculously high. I think that the government of the day should look at that area really well, because if the economy around the beaches and fishing communities do well, we also have peace of mind.
That's true.
So I think that from President Mills's time, where they actually had to change the color for premix, to make it easy for identification and all that, those things must come back. And also issues of how government put up subsidies for some of these equipment that they use for fishing. You know, it all helps. Because you'll be surprised that apart from the fact that most of the people are into fishing, they are really training their children for school.
Yeah.
Because they understand the value of education.
Mm-hmm.
So today, if you come to Ekumfi, we have taken education to a whole new discussion. We were fortunate to have one education director who came in, who has really kind of helped. I mean, I myself, when I went in, usually when the kids are going to write BC, I provide mathematical sets for all the children within Ekumfi.
Nice.
I've donated books, computers. I mean, so much. I've done so much. I've sponsored their quizzes, all in a bid to let them know that, look, education is key. And I'm happy to say that most of the parents in Ekumfi today have seen the value education brings. I mean, it hadn't been for education, probably I don't know where I would be now. So if I have had the opportunity to get to this point, I think that somebody's son or daughter also deserves that. You know, at one point in all this discussion, I was there and somebody just sent me a message about 2 or 3 students from Ekumfi. I opened it up. They scored straight A's.
Ooh.
Senior secondary.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought, look,
so proud.
This. I wish it was my son or my daughter. But I know my kids do quite well as well.
Yeah.
But immediately I saw that, I just called the paramount chief. I told, look, this is what's happened. He was also excited.
Yeah.
Immediately there was a program there. I took the boys there. They did a donation. They gave them free laptops. 2 laptops, 3 laptops, new ones.
And that's a good start for them.
Yes, and they were happy.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's an encouragement for those who are watching, because eventually, if you do well, it is likely you might have that.
Yeah.
And beyond that, I mean, I have a foundation. My dad is an educationist, so he has a school in Dansoman, step-by-step school. Hello to my mom, TB. She's done quite well, and I think that because we value education so much, we already started something here which is doing well. And that's the whole idea of me taking education quite seriously. And I think that given the right kind of support, education will play a very key role. We have schools in Ekumfi, like the Ahmadiyya School, we have Achin Senior High, we have Atta Mills Secondary School. But they have challenges. They don't have boarding facilities. And because of that, they struggle a lot in terms of student intake and all, because it has to be day.
Yeah.
So I remember when President Mahama came there, I mentioned to him that, look, these are some of the challenges we have, and I think he mentioned that, God willing, as God has done it. I'm very hopeful that Achin Senior High and then Atta Mills may see boarding house, and then we can grow the school to a point where we can accommodate students from all walks of Ghana, so they can actually come and study. So I think on educational front, things are really heating up. I'm excited. I've made mention that the foundation that I have will be providing some level of support and scholarship for brilliant but needy students who can basically help them to also grow. If you go to other universities, I know there are Ekumfi Tertiary Students Union. Today they have a youth association. You know, so everybody is kind of gearing themselves up in order to take up the challenges of the future. And with the kind of mindset that I have, I'm really keen in supporting them, because I need to see them also do well.
Yeah.
Because when I watch TV, I see, okay, people from Kumasi, from Tamale, you know. Today, if you come to the legislature, I was like, oh, wow, the northern sector has really done well.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, this free education thing,
Yeah.
that's really gotten them up to speed, and they are really doing well. And I think that for those of us in the South, we've also done well, but we need to step up our game, because the world is changing.
Yeah. And a lot is going on. I mean, if you look at what happened in the elections, the just past elections, you realize that the dynamics have really changed. The constituents are beginning to understand why we're giving a certain person the mandate to go there and represent us in the first place. Now, we saw a lot of people lose elections, you know, people who were expected to have done better for constituents, and it never happened. In the next 4 years, we're going to be having this conversation again. Does it put pressure on you, knowing that you're coming from an era or a place where Ghanaians are beginning to understand why we're putting so-and-so person into a certain position. So if I'm not providing them what they want,
Or you
if
don't
I'm not
meet
doing
up
what they
to
want, it
their
means that in the
needs.
next 4 years, I'm going to believe in it. Is that beginning to ring a bell? Is it putting pressure on you?
I mean, politics at its way, it's a machine or a system that never grinds to a halt. It's so consistent. Like, you go for elections today, the next day somebody's also looking at how the person's also going to make it. So you always need to be on your toes. But, one thing that I've come to realize about politics, usually there's one thing that we don't look at, the character of a person. Some of them are intrinsic. It's inbuilt. But because politics comes with power, people kind of veer into it by virtue of maybe their financial standing. I have the power. Inadvertently. And where there's poverty, clearly, somebody who does not necessarily have people at heart can use his money and get into politics. When he gets there, it's only the money that works for him. But inside, it's not the same. Which politics doesn't take cognizance of. In fact, they call it nisuna nebai. That's how we call it. So I don't know how that will ever change. However, with time, it gets exposed. Then people begin to ask questions. Because it is said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So gradually you begin to expose yourself by the kind of stuff that you say. I mean, if you look at the past administration, we got to a point that people are saying, so did we give power to them or they took the power themselves? Because all the language sort of centered around me, myself, and I, kind of, I'm the strong man here. But power belongs to the people. They give it to you. And they expect that they'll benefit from the power that you've given to them. So if they get to a point where they realize that, okay, now you feel like you are a demigod, sort of, then it's about time people made that change. And I think that's really what happened in this election. Beyond all the failures in terms of governance and the economy, right? Beyond that, you could see that the way and manner with which he responded to issues was beginning to look a bit of, I don't want to use the word arrogant, but it clearly gave you that impression. But to be honest, I've really come to respect Ghanaians a lot, seriously. Because sometimes when we're doing campaign, I go out and I campaign, people don't talk. They're quiet and like, okay. So I'm like, really, is it going well? I ask myself questions. But at the end of the day, you could clearly see people had made up their minds already. That should tell any government, including mine, which is coming, that we need to be consistent. We have a strategy and be consistent with it. Ghanaians are watching from day one. And they won't forgive you. Because I remember that in 2016, when we lost the elections, everything for me was going well. President Mahama was commissioning all the projects we could do. Everything was going well. But we suffered from issues of, let's say, delight situation, which was like almost fixed. But it came probably a bit late.
The timing.
So it had already impacted people so much that we had to pay the price. I think that going into 2025 and beyond, it will be good for us to also ensure that we keep up with the Ghanaian. Ghanaians are looking up to the NDC to change the fortunes of Ghana. Today, our governance was a big issue. Today, our economy was a disaster. Today, a lot of basic things that I struggle to use this word, but sometimes I feel like using it. Sometimes, from what I saw in the past, it looks like the issue of common sense eluded us in a lot of things. Because if it's your own business, the way you treat it, when you are in financial distress, sometimes you are in government and you see that people forget that these are people's money, that public funds that we are using for stuff. It's not yours. People must see that you are utilizing it well to the benefit of the people. So if they don't get that sense from you, you should know that, look, elections will come. And that's where they are going to tell you. I mean, the last time somebody was saying NDC lost by 1 million votes. Today,
look at the case.
We've won by 1.7. That means that 2.7 people changed their minds.
Right.
I mean, that's
significant.
That, as a politician, you should always have it at the back of your mind that, look, it's not a permanent situation. You need to work hard. But politics is tough.
Yeah.
You need to manage people. Within the party, you need to manage it. Beyond the party, there are people who are not party people who are watching.
Yeah.
Who are all making decisions day in, day out. So you should be consistent and really focus on what you are doing. And I think that if believing how much of a mandate Ghana has given to NDC, I also see the quantum of responsibility that has been given to us. We cannot afford to disappoint Ghanaians.
Yeah, at all.
And if my party, the NDC, plays it well and we perform, I think breaking the 8 will not be even a discussion. It will just come and go.
Okay.
It will just come and go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doc, I want to take you back to the whole fishing thing that you were talking about earlier. So when you were saying, I was just thinking that, okay, you know, fishing, the whole coastal borders, it's a focal point of revenue, generating revenue for, you know, people living there. So fishing, if education is now, you know, going up and up, the youth, younger people are being educated here and there. We know that fishing is one thing that is like a generational kind of, it is passed on from father to son, you know, wanting their, it's a family affair.
Right.
So if you have the youth getting into education and wanting to do something better, they think, than fishing, how exactly would be, well, what exactly would be the plan to sustain fishing if you're going to have all the youth running into doing something better because they're educated now?
Okay, thank you. You know what? Education is everywhere. It plays a key role in everything.
Yeah.
Right down from farming, fishing, whatever. I mean, what we do usually is white-collar jobs, so definitely that's like going to school, university, up to your PhD, get some job here and there. But if you're educated, for instance, let's use farming as a basis. Your farming methods, it's taught. You actually can start to use methods that really will help you.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past, let me use pineapple for an example. In the past, we didn't use plastic mulch, which is laid on the floor before you plant. Today, that is up.
Okay.
Because technology is telling us that we need to change the farming methods. Today we have, I mean, all kind of GMO foods and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same way. And naturally, I think God in his wisdom created us to fit into specific areas, if you ask me. I mean, there are families that you go and they are lawyers. There are families who are doctors. It's natural. They just go into it as if really nothing has happened. The same way if you go to the fishing communities, there are people who have families who I mean, they can't do without it. No matter how educated they are, it's like it's inbuilt.
Okay.
You know, so no matter how you educate them, they'll still go back.
They'll still fish.
The good thing is that when they get educated to that point, the methods with which they go fishing will change, it will improve.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And that is really going to help the economy within that space.
Right.
So education, yes, we want them to get educated, but we want them to stay home, make sure that things work for them well.
Okay.
So I think that whilst we're educating them, we are not taking away them from their occupation, as it were, but also helping them to improve how they go about things. You know, and I think that if that happens, it becomes good for us all. Today, they use canoes. I mean, boats are really expensive, so they don't have. So if they get educated and there's more money, they can move a notch higher, get boats, bigger boats. They can go. They can do much better fishing. And you and I get to enjoy the protein.
Well, we did. Yeah.
You know, so I think that the education thing really helps them to actually improve upon methods with which they go about their occupation. And I think that for me, going into farming, I didn't go the subsistence way. I went a bit large scale. So today I have a 60-acre pineapple plantation.
Ooh.
And I've dovetailed into other plants. I have coconuts, I have mango, I have palm. You know, because I'm one person who really plants. I don't know if I see my brain is futuristic. So I try to look more into the future and prepare for anything that might come. So I think that the education thing, I'm really keen about making it happen. But on the coastal belt, now that you say, they have a few challenges.
Okay.
If I go to a place like Nakwa, they have a lagoon, which is a bit of an issue. They don't have a proper landing beach. So because of that, fishing activities have really slowed down. If I go to a place like Emuna, they have issues with sea defense. I mean, the sea is literally coming home.
Right.
Ekumfi Constituency, the same thing. The sea is literally coming home. If you go to Otam, they have something they call Bill. It's the same landing beach thing. But the government of the day, the previous government did something, but it's not complete.
Okay.
So because of that, they are not able to really do the fishing that they want.
What did they do?
Literally a fishing community.
Okay.
So because the landing beach is not so well done, they have challenges where the sea usually destroys some of their boats and stuff. So they've really complained about it for a long time. I think that with the advent of the Mahama administration, me as an MP, one of my duties basically to talk about it and make sure we get the needed attention for some of these things to be fixed. But fishing is big there, and for me as a politician and knowing that a chunk of my people there do support us, I really don't have a choice. I really need to look at the things that go on there. That is not to say that the farming side of things, where I come from, will be ignored or neglected. I have plans of doing stuff for them as well. But I think that generally, I have a plan. I have a plan which should change the face of Ekumfi going into the future.
Okay.
Awesome. I think I'm planning on staying in Ekumfi for.
You should.
Time. Yeah.
Come join us. Come invest.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, we have quite beautiful tourist places as well.
Right.
Some developed, some undeveloped. In recent time, I had a call from one person who said there's a forest there which they think that can be put on the limelight for tourism. We have Breezes, which is like. Also a hotel. This is free adverts for you, which is doing well. And I think the coastal belt has quite a few places, which I think if also developed will put Ekumfi on the map. Beyond everything I've said. But one of the biggest challenges we have is our roads. Our road network is quite a bit of a problem. The NDC did its part, did quite a few. You'd be surprised. I mean, going into elections, I had to go into reshaping of roads. I did quite a few. Sometimes people ask, so you are now coming and you are
doing all this?
And I'm like, actually, I need to do it.
It has to be done anyway. So
yeah, I think that the people appreciated it so much. So that is why you could see that in terms of the voting, my vote's quite appreciated compared to what the previous happened. But I do not take that for granted at all. I need to really work hard because I'm really thinking that for my name to be a household name, I should do better in my next election, God willing, if I get the opportunity. And that will be as a result of the hard work that I do.
Yeah.
And so I need to really be up and running, be able to communicate well, be able to lobby well, especially for the roads. If you talk about the roads, there's one very talked about political road, Emuna Road, and the surrounding communities, Srafa area. You go to Asukwa, there are roads. They've reshaped for too long. It's about time something happened. You go to Suprodru, another area. I mean, the roads, quite a few needs to be done. So I've had a few discussions and I got a few assurances that, God willing, I know for now, the NDC government, which is coming, there's quite a bit of work that has to be done for most of these things to kickstart. But for some of us, definitely, we'll play a part on the micro level, see how much work we can do to make sure that things begin to take shape. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I believe that since it's your party that's in government right now, it'll be very easy for you to lobby for things to be done. Because we had quite a few others, prior to elections where, because NPP was in power, some NDC MPs were complaining about the fact that it was very difficult for them to lobby in Parliament for certain things to be done for them. So, yeah, Honourable, all the best to you. Congratulations to you. Yes, it looks like there's a lot to be done, but we know that it will get somewhere and you will do it.
Sure. So, I don't know whether we have come to the concluding part of...
Yes, we have.
We have. That was quick. Well, yes. So I want to say hello to the people of Ekumfi. In recent time, we had an unfortunate incident at Ekumfi Isam, an accident happened.
Oh.
I think the highways, they need to look at putting up these speed ramps around the Isam area, because it's really creating a bit of an issue. I think some people, they want a vocational school. They also want astroturfs. There's so much that is being required of us.
Right.
So that should tell you how much work that we need to do.
Okay.
And for me, I think I'm ready for the challenge. I'm asking everybody who's watching me to support me. Make sure, it doesn't matter which party you are. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, the important thing is that if Ekumfi works, it works for you, it works for me.
That's true.
And then the generations that are coming will have hope that, look, something has changed.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised. I mean, coming into this politics thing, I've realized that there are so many people who are occupying positions from Ekumfi who did not necessarily come home for one reason or the other. But I think that we need to create a platform which will make it conducive for such people to come home.
That's true.
To help. Professor Andam is from my constituency. Professor Mills is from there. And then the mathematical guy, Alute, is also, yes. I mean, all these guys are from there. So it tells you how much of talent we could get out of Ekumfi, assuming everything being equal. So I think that for me, I'm happy with the opportunity Ekumfi has given me.
All right.
I'm happy for the party. The executives played quite a very key role.
All right.
Without them, probably things would have been tougher.
Yeah.
And I think that the people accepted me based on all the hard work that I put in. And I'm assuring them that I'm really going to work hard. And I wish, I mean, Mobiara Afishapa, I want to go the fancy way a bit.
Yeah.
Yamisha won't be brave. The one mama Kunjay. Yami Aduma, Yebe Jumadin, Ekumfi, or Fanet and Pefra. Or they're watching, and Nanu Ekumfi, Yamisha, Madame Wasibebre.
Thank you so much, Honorable, for your time this morning. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, and everything that you said, I always say is all the best to you.
Thank you.
All right. KMJ, it's time for us to get into a very interesting conversation for the entertainment segment. Our guest has been Honorable Othniel Ekow Kwainoe, who is the MP for Ekumfi Constituency.